Hi guys, and welcome to Mythbusting Part 8. In today's episode, we have some crazy myths that are going to change the way you play Grounded forever. Let's get right into it. The first myth we have today comes in from Fish, and they ask, myth, the Mant doesn't take more damage with Ant Annihilator. Let's check it out. I tested this by dropping into the Mant boss fight and hitting it with one full combo from the Termite Axe. I then did the exact same thing, but I had Ant Annihilator equipped, and he took the exact same amount of damage. So this myth is confirmed. For some reason, Ant Annihilator doesn't help you defeat the Mant. The next myth today comes in from Elenoski, and they say, myth, on controller, you can open your inventory while sprinting for an auto sprint feature. Let's check it out. I started sprinting and then opened the D-pad wheel and selected open inventory. As you can see, I kept running and could move stuff in my inventory while running. You can also craft items as well. When you exit your inventory, your character keeps sprinting like an auto sprint feature. So this myth is confirmed. If you're looking for an auto sprint feature in the game, here you go. Today's next myth comes in from George Kane, and they ask, myth, you can get to Wendell without killing the Mant. Let's check it out. I dropped into the boss fight and went over to the button, but I had unauthorized access. When I checked the hand scanner, I also had unauthorized access. So this myth is busted. You can't actually get to Wendell if you don't kill the Mant first. The next myth in today's episode comes in from Holy Codster, and they ask, myth, you sprint just as fast backwards as you do forwards. I tested this by running along my long grass path. First, I ran forwards and got a time of 58 seconds. Then, I ran it backwards and got a time of 83 seconds, meaning this myth is busted. You only run at about 70% speed while running backwards. Our next myth today comes in from Patrick Dino, and they ask, myth, the game has a building height limit. Well, let me tell you, I built for at least an hour, ended up 5,500 centimeters in the air, and I still didn't hit a build limit. So I'm going to say this myth is busted and that there's no build limit. And if there is, you'll never have to worry about it. It's way too high up. Today's next myth comes in from RNJesus, and they ask, myth, cook times are item dependent. Let's check it out. I cooked a bunch of random items in the oven and waited for them to cook. They all finished at the exact same time, so this myth is busted. It seems all items cook at the exact same speed. The next myth we have today comes in from RNJesus again. And they ask, myth, crow feathers inflict a bleed effect. Let's check it out. I made a sprig bow with some crow arrows and then tested it on an ant. As you can see, the ants are indeed taking bleed damage from the crow arrows, which means this myth is confirmed. Crow arrows do indeed inflict bleed. Our next myth in this episode comes in from... no way. It's RNJesus again with the triple! And they ask, myth, does fresh defense lower the durability loss on gas masks? Time to find out. I made some super gas arrows and began spamming them at the ground. Without fresh defense, the gas mask broke in 12 arrows. With fresh defense, the gas mask also broke in 12 arrows. So, this myth is busted. Fresh defense is useless if you're wearing a gas mask. Our next myth today comes in from Taboo Tyler. And they ask, myth, does Natural Explorer and Aphid Slippers increase the glide speed? I made sure I was starting from a stationary position so that the speed buffs from the Slippers mutation wouldn't affect the initial speed. I tested it without anything on, and placed down a marker where I landed. Then, I put Natural Explorer and the Slippers on, and tested it again. I made it the exact same distance, so this myth is busted. They give you more momentum for your initial takeoff, but while you're in the air, they are the exact same speed with and without them being equipped. Today's next myth comes in from Mr. Gaming, and they ask, myth, can you drop items in the pet's inventory for an infinite backpack? Time to see if we just found the most game-breaking bug. I put some sprigs and stuff in the aphid, and I ran away. Then I dropped them all, and they dropped next to my pet. I tested it again with a bunch of mint chunks, and I ended up with a mountain. Just be careful, as this can lag the game quite a lot. But this myth is confirmed. You can use your pet to transfer items all across the map, and give yourself infinite inventory space. Today's next myth comes in from Paraly5er.It Does, and they ask, myth, can you have more than one pet? If so, how many? I'm here on my single player world, and as you can see, I have 3 pets. The way it works is that you can have as many pets as you want, but only one can be out of its pet house at a time, so you can't stack the buffs or the extra inventory slots. Thus, this myth is confirmed, you can have as many pets as you like. Our next myth today comes in from the Coven, and they ask, myth, harmless creatures don't count towards mutations. Let's find out. I started by killing Spiderling to unlock Lil Fist. Then I reloaded my save, meaning I was 1 kill away from unlocking the mutation. I first tested it by breaking web sacks, but these don't count as kills. Next, I tested it by killing a Weevil and an Aphid. I didn't unlock Lil Fist, so this myth is confirmed. You can't unlock mutations by killing passive creatures. I also tested it on the neutral Red Ant Worker, and this also counted in case you were wondering. The next myth in today's video comes in from Snake God, and they ask, myth, can you get gold cards from orc bugs? This was submitted a long time ago, but it took me ages to test this one. Until one day on my Woe World on stream, I killed an Orc Weaver Jr. and I got the gold card when looting it, meaning this myth is in fact confirmed. You can get gold cards from orc enemies. Today's next myth was sent in by Callum, and they ask, myth, does sour damage deal more damage to orc enemies? Now people keep telling me this, so I had to check it out. I got an Orc Weaver Jr. and a spicy spiky sprig. As you can see, I did a single attack and then 4 full combos, and I managed to kill it with the final attack. Next, I tested the fresh spiky sprig, as the regular Orc Weaver Jr. is resistant to this. This took an attack followed by 8 combos. Clearly, the Orc Weaver version has the same weaknesses and resistances as the regular. Finally, I tested the sour version. This took an initial hit and then 6 full combos after, meaning the Orc Weaver Jr. isn't weak nor resistant to this damage type, making it neutral. This means this myth is busted. Sour does not do more damage to orc enemies. Our next myth comes in from Graydon McCall, and they ask, myth, can you put sap catchers on a fridge? Obviously, you used to be able to do this with the turrets in the game, but can you now do it with the fridge? The answer is yes, this myth is confirmed, but I expect it to get patched soon. I managed to be able to get 10 sap catchers on the fridge. Comment down below the most sap catchers you've managed to fit on a fridge yourself. Today's next myth was submitted as I was halfway through making this video, but it was so good I had to include it. This myth comes in from insert text here, and they ask, myth, using the spicy charm allows you to activate burr bombs with your fists. Let's check it out. I placed some burr bombs down and punched them regularly with nothing equipped. Nothing happened. Then I put on the spicy charm, and as you can see, the burr bombs exploded. This myth is confirmed. You can blow burr bombs up with anything as long as you have the spicy charm on. But I did test it with a charcoal canteen, and for some reason, it didn't work. Bug alert! Bug alert! You can't, for some reason, use the canteen, even though you can use every other weapon in the game. This makes no sense whatsoever. The next myth today comes in from Mio-Ji. I probably butchered that name. And they ask, myth, you can throw spears underwater. Let's have a look. I headed into the water with a bunch of spears and tried to throw one. To my surprise, this not only works, but they fire kind of like torpedoes, and they do really good damage. I tested it with all 3 spears, and all 3 of them work. They take a lot of skill to use because you have to lead them a lot, but they seem pretty useful. Myth confirmed. The final myth today comes in from the Smoky Room, and they ask, myth, can you build a dew collector water farm? I think this may be one of the first ever water farms in Grounded. I built a big ramp to push water from dew collectors down into an area with a bunch of water containers, and they autofill when the water falls on top of them. This would be a really good way to farm water to drink, or if you need it for anything like growing crops in the future maybe. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like on it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next Grounded video.